This is the remarkable story of Roland Fryer.
Let's get to explain why he went into hiding.
He conducted a study.
I said, this is going to be the easiest paper I ever write. I'm going to go get some data. I'm going to go show that the police are biased.
The findings did not match the story that people wanted to be true at Harvard.
So we saw some bias in the low-level uses of force, every day pushing up against cars and things like that. People seem to like that result. But we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings.
So he entered the story believing that police are inherently racist. He already had the story in his mind.
Now, that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. I don't like the police very much. I don't.
What happens when the actual data is stacked up against the stories we believe? Well,
and I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose.
Which caused him to literally go under police protection. I think like a 1-year-old he had at the time. Because there are essentially stories that we cannot question. And he chose one and did. And this is what happened.
People lost their minds. I mean, it was like...
He says the colleagues told him, don't publish this, warning, you'll ruin your career.
I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career.
Because people do not like it when they are emotionally attached to a story that is essential to the foundation of how they think. Presenting actual data claiming that story you believe with so much certainty is wrong, not just like sort of wrong, but very wrong.
I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes.
Because the first part fits within the larger story they already believe to be true.
Do you believe the second part?
It's just sad, man.
Well, the issue is they just don't fit together.
The world is so much more vastly complicated, I think, than the human psyche can really easily comprehend. So we reduce it down into stories. The media tells stories, and that ties into the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that lets you compare perspectives on any topic with full transparency on the political bias, financial incentives, and credibility behind the headlines. Whatever the debate shaping our lives is, the narratives we hear can shape what we think before we've even had a chance to question it. Critical thinking is all about thinking for oneself to navigate the stories and the patterns that make up the world. We see the differences in these stories through the lens of the media. Follow your favorite topics or simply paste any article link in their search bar to find the full coverage on heated issues and swipe between perspectives to form your own opinion based on all the facts. Ground News was designed to give you back control over your thoughts. That's why they created their blind spot feed, one of the most important things to check before trying to have constructive dialogue with people who think differently than you. Go to ground.news/Smith or scan the QR code on the screen. Viewers get the top tier Vantage plan for just $5 a month. So it's a handy tool, how best to navigate those stories. That's where Ground News comes in.
I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they say, yeah, then it would make sense.
Because then it would fit within the larger story that they want to be true.
And I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens.
Right.
For releasing findings that contradict popular left-wing narratives on policing.
And he said, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
It was a 104-page, dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix.
And this is about data. It's not about opinion. He was simply observing what the data indicated.
An empirical analysis of racial differences in police use of force.
Black people are 13% of the population, and they are 50% of the police shootings. I'm sorry about that, but I don't know what that has to do with the question. I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year.
An RA is a research assistant, so these are usually like graduate students.
I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. People lose their minds when they don't like the result. It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is
So this indicates that people did not even read it before responding.
And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. People lost their minds. I mean, it was like colleagues of mine were going, well, I don't believe these results. He's using regression.
And the consequence of this upon Roland Fryer is truly remarkable.
You know, I lived under under police protection for about
Police
30 or
protection?
40 days. I had a
Bruh.
7-day-old. I was going to the grocery store to get diapers with an armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly
Bruh.
crazy.
This is sad.
The need for police protection, it's truly remarkable that this can occur at a university like Harvard.
It was a really phenomenal experience.
And then there's a choice point where it's like, do you continue on voluntarily or do you return to safety?
There are a lot of people, many people, and this has been a realization for me over the past few years of my own life, who faced with that exact decision point would make the opposite choice.
By and large, people will take the path of least resistance majority of the time. It's easier to be foolish than to be wise. It's easier to just go with the flow and not follow the truth when inconvenient. And he made the decision to continue on.
So I set up ride-alongs in Camden, Philadelphia, Houston, some places in Massachusetts to ride along with the police.
There is something uniquely difficult about what they do, and I think he articulates it well right here.
And we get a call for a potential overdose in a row house. It's an abandoned building. We bust in. A person dies within 6 feet of me. And it shook me up a little bit. And so I looked at the guys I was with and I said, yo, how about beers on me? And they said, what do you mean beers are on you? I said, I don't know how to say it. Do you want me to speak in Greek? I mean, I don't know. It's beers are on me. We should leave here. Let the paramedics take over. We should go. And they said, we got to go back to work.
And it was in that moment that he realized, like, they just do this over and over again because someone has to.
Man.
And I said, but we just saw somebody die. And the police chief overheard me, and he was incredulous. He says, Roland, if I gave everybody a break every time someone died, no one would cover the shifts. And I was like,
That's
wow.
crazy.
It is a hard job.
And just say, I'm going to follow the truth regardless of what happens. That's a very powerful thing.
What is it inside of you? What can everyone here learn about what allowed you to make the opposite choice? To make the choice that would force you to suffer all of the consequences you would come to suffer, some a direct result and some adjacent to it.
I don't covet what they covet.
I mean, the response to the study in this case is just as important as the study itself, the way people reacted. Many people that do not want this to be true will listen to this, will listen to his words, and just simply will not believe it.
And I tell my undergraduates every year in the final lecture of my undergraduate classes, each one of them, the key to Harvard is get a great education without letting this place change you.
You could argue that the end result was the ideal outcome because now the story has reached millions of people